coming at you with yet another chapter of Battle of the Bands, where we rejoin our now dejected rock heroes as they try to make the most of this disastrous leg of their tour. Will a group of lovely vixen rockers be enough to pull Rolf out of his sulking? Probably not, but should be interesting to watch nonetheless. With that comprehensive thought out of the way, kick back and enjoy Nightriders Battle of the Bands Chapter 3. Enjoy!
Well, if it isn't the Nightrider boys, a pleasant female voice sang from behind. Axel turned around to see 4 female foxes standing behind them. His breath hissed in his throat at the sight of the famous heavy metal band Flameheart.
Well, if it isn't the Flameheart girls,
Lonnie said. He rushed over and embraced a red fox in a hug before they both erupted into pleasant laughter. She was dressed in mostly black, complete with a leather jacket, and had a golden heart medallion around her neck. "How've you guys been, Lonnie?" she said warmly. "You look good." Lonnie chuckled.
Oh, you know, we're still rocking the world. And you?
"We're doing quite well, actually. Most of our shows are sold out, and our fan base continues to grow." "How about you, Rolf?" another fox asked. Her mane was a reddish hue, and she wore a leather skirt.
Been better,
Rolf grumbled in a low voice.
"Just as jolly as ever, I see,"
she giggled.
If you didn't know, Axel, these beautiful and talented gals opened for us at one of our major shows back in the day,
Lonnie explained. Although he had never met any of them in person, Axel immediately recognized the Fox Ladies as the ever-growing popular female heavy metal band known as Flameheart. The 2 gals with the heart medallions were the famous Heart Sisters. The fox wearing the black pants was the vocalist and guitarist Lucinda Hart. Axel noticed that behind her friendly feminine personality, there was a certain take-charge attitude which gave her the appearance as the unofficial leader of the group. Consequently, she was usually the spokesperson for the band. The slightly shorter fox in the skirt was the lead guitarist, and Lucinda's younger sister, Melissa Hart. She was always soft-spoken and sweet-natured in interviews, which Axel found fascinating. She was the last person you would expect to be the fierce animal behind the guitar in Flameheart. The girl with the white top and blue jeans was the bassist, Janet Starr. She was the quiet bass player who never had much to say. Axel knew next to nothing about her aside from the fact that she had a reputation for being a geek when it came to sound equipment and electronics. It was also a well-known fact that she was a fan of comic books. The girl with the sarcastic half-smile, wearing a black skull t-shirt and piercings on her ears and nose, was the drummer Sabrina. She was recognized as the tomboy, the party animal of the band, as well as for having a short fuse at times. Axel always thought of her as the Rolf of Flameheart, if her personality was multiplied by 10. "So who's the new green friend of yours?" Lucinda asked, turning her attention to Axel.
Oh yeah,
Lonnie said, slapping his forehead.
This is Axel Rains. He's taken over vocal duty since Mac Manson left.
"And honored to finally meet you, ladies," Axel greeted with a slight smile. "I'm a big fan of your work." "Is that so?" Lucinda smiled, which hinted of sarcasm. "We'll have to check the back of the van to see if we have any albums left to autograph. But if nothing else, we'll give you a guitar pick." Axel chuckled.
"Oh, nah, that's alright. If I want a famous person's autograph, all I have to do is sign my own name."
Quite humble, isn't he?" Lucinda quipped, crinkling her nose. Lonnie gave an awkward chuckle.
Oh, don't be too quick to write him off. He's actually a pretty cool guy. Just not always the best joker.
"Well, I'll just have to take your word for that, won't I?" Lucinda winked at Axel. Axel smirked and took another sip of his drink. He really admired her fiery personality. She could definitely give him a run for his money, and he liked that about her. Even with her rock star edginess, she had the restraint of a leader, which set her apart from band members like Rolf and Sabrina, who were notorious for taking things too far.
So what are you boys doing in Beach City?
Melissa inquired.
You have a show booked, or are you just taking a vacation?
Just taking a vacation,
Rolf said. Axel rolled his eyes.
Actually, we did have a show scheduled, but the venue manager decided to cancel it because of that stupid Warlock concert. He didn't think enough people would show up.
Oh my gosh, Lucinda raised her eyebrows in shock. That really sucks. I mean, the Warlock concert is hurting the ticket sales for our show tomorrow for sure, but it hasn't been canceled.
And the only compensation he offered us was pizza, Lonnie added. Can you believe that? Pizza! So we're just here trying to make the most of our stay while we're here in town and forget about all of the crap. The Nightriders will never consider performing in that ugly rundown theater again, I can tell you that, Rolf said. Who the heck names their theater after a dumb snail anyways?
Lucinda appeared to ponder an idea. You know, we've got a show tomorrow night at a theater that's just an hour away, Lucinda pondered aloud. Why don't you guys open for us? Who knows? Maybe it'll increase our show's turnout while also giving us an opportunity to pay back the favor for the time you let Flameheart open for you guys.
Sorry, but no can do.
Rolf slammed his glass on the counter.
We've got to hit the road tomorrow to stay on schedule.
Lonnie choked on his snow cone.
On schedule? Rolf, in case you have forgotten, our original show was scheduled for tomorrow.
He turned to Lucinda and said,
This is perfect!
Rolf huffed and puffed and got up from his seat.
Actually, I'm feeling a little under the weather. I just don't think I'm up for the show tomorrow. I'm ready to head back to the hotel now. Gosh, Rolf, cut the crap!
Axel snapped.
What is it now?
As soon as the words left his mouth, he knew he had crossed over into dangerous territory. Rolf's nostrils flared.
I'm feeling sick, and I want to head back to the hotel,
he said through gritted teeth.
Do I really need to spell it out for you, Axel?
It's okay, Lucinda interjected in an attempt to break the tension. But if you find yourself feeling better tomorrow, Rolf, look us up. Lucinda flashed another wink at Axel and joined her bandmates, who had already moved on to the pool tables. Anger swirled through Axel's veins. What was wrong with Rolf? He could be rude, but discarding a business opportunity was crossing the line.
Listen, Rolf, I may have not been in the band long, but I still know you well enough to be able to tell when you're not being straight with us.
Rolf's features softened a bit, and he unclenched his jaw.
Okay, fine, but let's get out of here first.
Axel glanced over at Lonnie, who shrugged and sat up to leave. While walking out of the building, Axel glanced up at the TV and noticed one of the warlocks beheading what looked like someone in a goblin costume. The audience went wild as fake blood splattered everywhere. Anger swirled through him again. When they stepped out of the club, Axel grabbed Rolf by his arm.
All right, I want the real reason for why you turned down an opportunity to keep this trip from becoming a complete waste.
Rolf threw off Axel's hand from his arm and gazed intently into his eyes.
Because we're the Nightriders, that's why. Flameheart is a good band, I'm not arguing that. But we've already built a legacy for ourselves, and we'd only be damaging that by opening for them. What the heck, Rolf?
Lonnie shouted angrily. Just then, thunder rumbled in the distance, and the occasional raindrop landed on Axel's head. He shook his head while looking despairingly at the ground.
I should have known, Rolf, he said calmly. I should have known from the start you were the problem holding back this band.
What did you say?
Rolf snarled.
He's right,
Lonnie chimed in.
Your ego is destroying the Nightriders' reputation. It's what drove Mac away, and it's why it took us so long to find a vocalist you actually agreed to work with.
Rolf cackled.
Yeah, well, I'm really beginning to regret my choice. I guess as the saying goes, never trust the long tongue.
Shut up, Rolf.
Axel yelled, as he felt his normally cool demeanor quickly beginning to deteriorate.
I know your idea of a good band member is someone who's easily intimidated and will do whatever you say.
No, my idea of a good band member is someone who's not an idiot, Rolf countered.
The only idiot in the band is you, Axel shouted. Because despite the fact you work so hard to protect the legacy of the Nightriders, you're the one who's killing it!
Without warning, Axel felt the sharp pain of Rolf's fist smashing into the left side of his face.
What the heck, Rolf?
Lonnie shouted, wide-eyed with shock. After regaining his composure from the blow, Axel tightened his right fist.
You just found the limits of my patience, buddy.
Axel returned a blow to Rolf, and the two began exchanging a barrage of punches.
What are you guys doing?
Lonnie hollered as he unsuccessfully tried to separate the two.
This ain't gonna solve nothing.
Tired and bruised from their fast but furious rumble, Axel and Rolf eventually backed away from one another, shouting insults and accusations. As the adrenaline began to wane, Axel felt the pain. A large gash on Axel's left cheek burned and began to swell, while Rolf's lip and eye were bruised and swollen.
Next time you take a shot at me, I'll finish the job!
Axel snarled.
Long tongue,
Rolf jeered as he wiped the blood from his nose.
That was stupid, guys!
Lonnie scolded. Both Rolf and Axel stood there, panting and trying to catch their breath from the roughhousing. By this time, the scuffle had gained some spectators.
Guys, it would probably be a good idea to split before we gain any more attention,
Lonnie advised. Axel observed the growing presence of an audience and nodded his head at Lonnie. Rolf gave Axel one more dirty look before walking in the direction of their van. After Rolf had gained some distance, Axel and Lonnie slowly followed.
Dude, you're gonna need stitches for that,
Lonnie said, as he analyzed the gash on Axel's face. Axel waved him off. Lonnie released a despairing sigh.
I'm assuming we're gonna need to start looking for another vocalist, right?
For a moment, Axel stopped walking. He flashed back to his many years of laboring in clubs and bars, singing karaoke to a bored audience that all too often couldn't care less for music. He thought about his first experience with the Dirty Rats, the first, quote, real band he played with, which ended in disaster upon learning of the band's connection to the sewer rat gang. To call it a disaster was an understatement, as it ended with him promptly leaving the band and his former bandmates hunting him down for walking out with their gang-related secrets. All this brought an unusual combination of both determination and helplessness, as he knew there was no walking away from this situation. He gazed into Lonnie's eyes.
What I told you before, Lon. I've worked with bandmates who literally wanted to kill me. Believe me when I say that working with Rolf is a walk in the park.
Lonnie shook his head in disbelief.
What band did you say you were from again?
Without saying another word, Axel continued walking back to the van.
What is this, an Animal Wrestling Federation pay-per-view? Check in next video to see just how much crazier this leg of their tour can get. I mean, it obviously can't get any worse. Get it? Don't answer that question. Just come back for Chapter 4 of Battle of the Bands. Later, dudes and dudettes. Stay out of trouble, cause these guys obviously aren't.